Mark David Chapman wasn't that obsessed with John Lennon at all. He had liked Todd Rundgren. Hello, it's me. Todd Rundgren, different artist. Todd Rundgren he was obsessed with Todd Rundgren. He loved Todd Rundgren. All he ever listened to was Todd Rundgren. He didn't really listen to John Lennon. But he did supposedly buy Double Fantasy. And he did meet John Lennon twice. So he met him the first time and let him pardon him. And then he killed him the second time. But he was all into Todd Rundgren. Now, he did buy J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. He did leave Wizard of Oz postcard, and he left it all mapped out on the hotel room cabinet, like a thing of Wizard of Oz postcard and all this other stuff mapped out. It's kind of like not a calling card, but it was more of kind of like a note to the world, you know. But he was very man-like about it. His thoughts were very much like a man. And Jared Leto played his thoughts like a boy, which, you know, it's a take. But this conversation really did happen. And this guy really did photograph Mark David Chapman before the killing. So he actually did a document. Now, if this was a video camera, he possibly might have got the assassination on video. Back then, it was hard to get any type of moving motion picture camera, especially a video camera or anything like that. It was very difficult. But you get still photographs. In my play, it starts off in Florida. And he's talking to his friend because Mark David Chapman lived in Florida. He dropped LSD in Florida with a friend. He moved all around. He ends up in Hawaii when he's way older. He becomes a security guard. He signs out as John Lennon. So he's in Hawaii. He was very depressed. He did try to kill himself. He put a hose next to his car and watched the sunset. Listened to Todd Rundgren all the time. That Hello song. He did drop acid when he was younger. That really happened. He did end up flying to New York after the security guard job was not working out in Hawaii. He decided not to kill himself. He was married to an Asian lady. He flew all the way to New York City and stayed in a few hotels, kind of the Chelsea area that, you know, something like Holden Caulfield would do, and walked around. And when he heard, watching the wheels go round and round on Double Fantasy, he saw it as a code. Did the same thing with my second wife. I was in a jewelry store, and I heard a song that said the word angel. I thought, she's my wife, I'm going to buy the ring, and I went forward with it, and now I have 3 kids running around somewhere. He did the same thing. The only difference is he was listening to Double Fantasy, heard someone playing in a record store, and he heard, I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I loved, right? That whole song. And that corresponds with Catcher in the Rye, which is right here. Corresponds with it. So it matches it perfectly. Because Holden Caulfield goes to Central Park and watches the wheels go round and round on the carousel. It's a carousel. Some call it a merry-go-round. Adam the Woo calls it something different. Adam the Woo, it's a little round disc thing. It's a playground thing. It's on a playground. It goes around. It's called a carousel or a merry-go-round. Adam the Woo posted, or his father, JWW, posted him as a younger man, or maybe a teenager or something, pushing, or a young kid pushing this thing, this merry-go-round looking thing. It's like a disc that spins. There's a name for it. I forget the name, but it's a playground thing. And you spin it. The kids are flying off, and he got hundreds of thousands of hits, and he became Adam the Woo, or hundreds of thousands of views. People viewed it. He became Adam the Woo. When Mark David Chapman heard Double Fantasy and heard John Lennon singing, I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round, it clicked, and he knew he had to kill John Lennon at that moment. He signed out as John Lennon, but I don't think he made the decision to kill him until he went to Central Park, just like Holden Caulfield, and saw that merry-go-round or carousel. And he knew he was Holden Caulfield. And he knew he had to continue this book about phonies. He didn't like John Lennon. He liked Todd Rundgren. So he made the decision that he would execute John Lennon as Holden Caulfield, not as himself. It's a delusion. You can get lost in delusion. Psychosis. I've been in psychosis. You can be completely lost. He actually really thought he was Holden Caulfield. He didn't think he was himself anymore. So he fired all the revolvers out of a 38, I believe, and he assassinated John. I did write a play and scenes called Chapter 27. It did get lost in a storage unit in new school. And when that came out, I got mad. Dude owes me money. Because I'm the idea guy. I'm the storyteller. You pay the storyteller. Pay him a whole lot. JCPenney, back to school. So welcome to the Please Subscribe show. So Mark David Chapman would have done all this stuff that Jared Leto did. He would have been very still, very robotic. I've been in psychosis. It's not like that. It's not like a little kid running around balancing, acting real weird and expressionism. You know, wouldn't be doing that. He'd be very still, very robotic. Okay? He'd be very, very still and very robotic. Okay? It's good. It looks good. Okay? So he'd be standing against the wall just like this, waiting for John Lennon. All his thoughts and all this expressionism was acted out. It had been going on in his head. He would have been playing like a little kid. Now, there was this thing Sean Penn did in the assassination of Richard Nixon where he did do playing like a little kid. That was, that was a different kind of approach to childlike delusion and wanting to kill Richard Nixon. But I think he would have been very still and patient, waiting. Just like a gargoyle. He did mention a gargoyle, feeling like he was a gargoyle, almost like a robot. And then when he would approach John Lennon, he would have been very like it was God had sent him to do this thing. Very controlled. Gave him the double fantasy. Would you sign this autograph? Or, I'm sorry, you know the dialogue. Would you sign my double fantasy? Would you give me your autograph? Okay. So he would say like, Mr. Lennon, would you give me my autograph? Or he would say, Mr. Lennon, can I have your autograph? He may have said all three, I don't know. But he had been very up against the wall. See, the actors do stuff, they don't want great performances anymore. De Niro doesn't want you to do a great performance. Well, Christopher Walken doesn't want great performances. They don't want that. It's dangerous to them. Right? We have to take over and take initiative. It'll happen probably the 60s, 2060s or 2070s, we'll get some great performances. We're not going to have any great performances anymore. We're going to have stuff like this, okay? Very embarrassing kind of performances. So it would have been a very much kind of him just standing very still and waiting for John Lennon to approach for a very long time. Now, he would have conversations with other people, but he would walk up and they would be very quiet, and he would be trying to get maybe information or maybe just talking like almost kind of robotic a little bit because he'd been detached from his own psyche. He wouldn't be in the real world. He was in the world of Holden Caulfield. This is the world of a child, which is easy. It's easy take. The direction would be easy. Play it like a child. Sure, no, that's not the way. Play almost like a robot or like a person robot, controlled by this crazy delusion of Holden Caulfield. Like maybe he would have even said, John, can I have your autograph? Right? Very out of place. Right? Because that's a choice. Maybe sometimes he would talk in his own voice. It would come out, quiver. My name's Holden Caulfield. And then he makes a decision that he's going to shoot John Lennon. See, delusion is not acted out. Delusion is in the inside of you. It's inside of you. It goes on inside. When you're delusional, it's inside. We don't act out our delusions. I'm going to shoot John Lennon. I'm going to shoot John Lennon. I'm going to shoot John Lennon. Right? His Joker's even worse. Dallas Buyer Club, he kind of, Requiem for a Dream, yeah, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that it was like an inspired God-inspired plan to assassinate. John Wilkes Booth, Frank Booth is from David Lynch. John Wilkes Booth probably did the same. You know all my mistakes. You know every hair on my head. You know everything about me. You know everything about me. You know every hair on my head. So God had sent him down to assassinate John Lennon. It was God's plan, because God needed John Lennon to be killed. Right? Just like a lot of other things. Yeah, hang on. I'm making an orientation. So this is kind of embarrassing. Mark David Chapman would have been very still. The illusions would have been on the inside of him. Everything I'm saying is genius and BS at the same time. It's BS and genius at the same time. So it's BS and it's genius at the same time. That's how De Niro does stuff. That's how Marlon Brando did it. He was BS and genius at the same time. Jared Leto may have a good performance in him, but it's not that one. You know why? Because it's BS and it's genius at the same time. Genius is just genius and BS at the same time. So the delusion is mixed up. It's detached. It becomes like a robot. So the child thing is very mature. It's manlike. And you see some of that maybe in the hotel, like this, that kind of stuff. Not him pointing a gun at a wall. That's general. You can tell when it's phony, right? He wanted to be real. He didn't want to be phony. That's why he was robotic when he moved and did things. So it was more of a controlled approach to killing John Lennon. Huh? It's a little bit fine. Don't worry about it.
You sure?
You're probably preggo.
Medium?
Yeah, you're preggo.
Shut up. No, come here.
We'll have the fourth baby coming up.
No, come here.
I'll mail you a condom. I'm gonna mail you a condom. So that kind of stuff is not method. That's not method. Mailing people condoms in the mail is not method. That's just someone trying to do something. Like it's more of like a performance art kind of thing. It's just like it's performances. You owe me money. I'll beat it out if I have to. Give me my money. See, the secret to me is that I'm actually a robot. I'm not real. I don't have a real heart inside me. I don't have a soul. See? That little thing on the end? That makes me a robot. I was never a real person. Inside of me is metal. Just like the Terminator. So I was on X-Files. They ran me through a thermal machine. I was in 3 words. They wanted to see inside of me to see if I was a robot. And I am. I'm not real. I'm mechanical. I am a mechanical robot. Right? Good is good equally, right? I'm a robot. I'm a robot boy, which is worse than a robot man. I'm an Niger, baby. Right? I'm Hitler. I'm Lucifer. I'm your worst nightmare. And all in all, I am Jesus Christ. I have been the whole time. See? And Adam the Woo is Gabriel. He's an angel, just like it was prophesied in Luke. See? The chest is very important to the Jewish man. The chest is. When they crucified Jesus Christ, his chest collapsed and he suffocated. If you were to crucify me, I'd stay on the cross for a long time and breathe just fine because of how I'm structured. You can't crucify me again. I'll just breathe the whole time. He redesigned me. So really, I'm the ultimate robot Christian warrior, here to take over the world. And Jesus Christ is backing me. He gave me the funding. He gave me the funding. I have all the funding I need. So when you try to crucify me, you can put the nails in my hand and put me up on the cross. I'll just sit there and breathe for a long time until they take me down. Because my lungs will not collapse. See? See? I have proof. I am the Messiah. So I don't say it correctly. Adam was given the beautiful touch of the tongue, because the tongue is why we go to heaven or hell, what we prophesize. I can't prophesize because I have a notch on the end of my tongue. Right? Nah, I'm just joking. I'm a regular man, just like you. I have flaws, just like anybody. Everybody is born with a defect. I shot John Lennon. That's the reason why. I went back in time, right? A DeLorean came up, opened its door, and I jumped inside. I went back in time. I went 88 miles per hour, and I went back in time, and I arrived at the Dakota. Cole Spivey shot John Lennon. John Lennon. I can speak just like you. I'm very real, and I shot John Lennon. I did. I shot him 5 times. I missed once. Well, I missed one of the bullets, but I hit him 5 times. Yoko ran over in the corner. She ran away in the shadows screaming. Or somebody screamed. We don't know for sure if it was Yoko, but someone was screaming. Someone saw what happened and screamed. John tried to mumble something about Sean and Julie or whatever. Something Julian or something. He was trying to breathe. Blood was coming out of his mouth. And I said, hooray. The Messiah rules. John is dead. It was prophesied. God wanted John Lennon dead. And he got inside of Mark David Chapman and commanded him to kill John Lennon so the prophecy could go on. And yes, I wrote the play, chapter 27. See? So the play goes on. So the noise goes on. And I continue to prophesize. Why? Because I can't. I can't prophesize. That's why I prophesize. See? I can't prophesize. That's why I prophesize. So am I prophesizing? Yeah, sure. Every once in a while. See? It's prophecy. Everything we write will stay beyond the heavens and the earth. Every word that is written will stay and outlast the heavens and earth, and maybe even God. And that's prophecy. Why? Because I can't do it. That's why I prophesize. And that's why I'm prophesizing right now. You can save gigabytes by reinstalling YouTube app. Okay? And keep the freaking money. I'll get another way. So what did we learn? That I can prophesize. And that I can do it. Right? It's very simple. I did it. I prophesied. It is done. It is accomplished. I was crucified and I rised again. A Christian means a little Christ. So I'm alive and well, and Jesus loves me. You probably don't, but he does love me. See, you love to laugh and spit on me, just like you loved and laughed and spit on him. And that's part of the cross that I carry and that you don't carry. Some of you might carry it, but most of you don't, because most of you are going right to hell. Want to wish you a good night. Please subscribe and welcome. Love you. So ultimately, we don't want to give up, right? We don't want the devil to get inside our head and say that we can't do anything. That's how we start to lose. But I want you to see. I want you to see me fail sometimes, so you can continue spitting, right? At the end of the day, I wipe all of this clean from all the spit that goes onto it. Spit comes out, goes right there. Some of you may find me disgusting. Some of you may find me beautiful. Frankly, it doesn't make a difference. If you were to walk up to me and say, you're disgusting, or if you were to walk up to me and say, you're beautiful, it'd make no difference to me whatsoever. Isn't that wonderful that I got over that? I could walk down the beach completely naked. I don't care. You can look if you want. It doesn't bother me at all. So what you say to me doesn't make a difference. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want all day long. You can say it over and 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 over. You can say Marlon Brando, 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 Marlon Brando over and over again. I don't care. Some people may find Marlon Brando freaking disgusting. Some people might find Robin Williams beautiful to look at. Some people might find him disgusting. It doesn't matter what you think. It only matters what God thinks. So are you beautiful? Yes, you are beautiful. Because God finds you beautiful. And if I'm a Christian and I go up to you and I go, you're beautiful, it's because God finds you beautiful and God's inside me. So that means you're beautiful, right? Am I beautiful? Yes, in God's eyes, I'm beautiful. So that means I am beautiful, right? And that means I'm a man. Because if you know you're beautiful, then you're a man. That's what the Greeks said. So God is beautiful, and I'm beautiful, and you're beautiful, because I know that God finds you beautiful. So when you approach someone, look through God's glasses and approach them just like God and find them beautiful and stop spitting on people and be nice. That's the ultimate goal. Just be kind and nice. And ultimately, we'll all get past all the things that we need to get past together. You'll see my chip on my shoulder. I'll notice yours. There are things wrong. There's people walking around this planet and they've been completely burned all over their body. And they're perfectly fine. They're okay with it, right? And there's other people that are perfectly, perfect. And they're okay with it. And some people find those people disgusting and some people don't. So regardless, it doesn't really matter. So ultimately we'll get past that part and we'll move on. And I can teach you how to, accept humanity, right? How to be humane. Because you need to learn humanity through this or it'd be a waste of your time. It's a long journey and it's only going to get very, very longer. It's going to be a very long, long journey because, God's not going to allow me to give up. He's going to be with me the whole time. And so are you. So have a good night. And thank you for listening to my delusions and talking about Mark David Chapman. And eventually I'll move on to the next subject and we'll get on to another movie or another story or another part of the Bible or another person or another road, right? We'll go down another road some other time. So the most important thing that you need to know is this, that Jesus Christ was killed for two different reasons. He died a criminal death. He died a criminal's death. He was killed for hubris, for blasphemy. He told the Jewish people that he was God. They didn't like that. It broke their law. That was the first reason why he was killed. They were both kind of legal reasons. So he was hubris, or he was penalized for hubris. So he said, I am God, and they didn't like that. So they filed a complaint against him and decided to kill him. Now there's a second reason. The Jewish people didn't like him. He said he was God. And the Romans killed him because of treason. Here's the second reason. Because of treason. He committed treason upon his country. So they put him on a cross. They put nails right here. And right here. So he'd carry the cross. They put a sign right here. nailed him here, nailed him here, and they nailed him here. Then they put a crown on his head of thorns. Put nails through his ankle, kind of like this. See? Just like that. Nail through his hands. We carry those scars. It says it in that book right there. So there was nails, and a crown of thorns.
Yes, people know what you do.
You have any new ones?
Oh, you mean the new ones?
Yeah. That one's kind of itchy.
Yeah, they do get itchy.